welcome to a Better Way podcast here over at Canopy Mortgage. I'm McKay Scholl, the host today. I'm super excited. We have Chad Cantrell and Josh Barnes from the Barnes Cantrell Group joining us here today. Tell me a little bit about yourselves. What do you guys like to do for fun outside of sling mortgages, Chad and Josh?
We work a lot of hours, but we like to travel. We work and we do a lot of work. What else? What do we do?
Yeah, we're workaholics, so it's just work now. Travel with the family and stuff. My kids play sports and things like that, so it's always something going on, always. So
we've got a farm. We ride horses, stuff like that too. So we're North Alabama, so we're in the rural Alabama area. So we've got lakes, mountains, lots of fishing, horses, stuff like that, skiing. So,
all things outdoors, it sounds like, and
for sure.
Quite a bit of travel. So let me ask you too, how did you guys find the mortgage industry, or rather how the mortgage industry find you all?
Yeah, it's an interesting story for me. I was working at a credit union. I'd been there about 5 years, I guess. And about a year prior, a friend of mine was in the mortgage business, and he wanted me to come do his marketing. I had just received my marketing degree, or got my marketing degree a couple of years prior. And we never could get the numbers right. It just really didn't make sense. I was wanting to sell and do marketing at the credit union because it was one of the largest credit unions in North Alabama. And at the time, my fiance and I were buying a house. We were going to get married. And so we're going to buy a house, fix it up so that it's ready for after we get married. And so we went to him for a loan. And he said, hey, I never found anyone to help us. Are you still interested? And I was like, well, yeah. So my wife, fiance at the time, and I went for a loan application, which turned out to be an interview. And that's how I got in on that side of banking in 2006. It's 19 years ago in June. But I started banking 24 years ago in May.
We both started at the same time, yeah, even though I'm much younger. So I accidentally got in the mortgage business too because my family owned a local bank. I grew up working there. My mother sold 7 or 8 years ago. We sold the bank, but Chad and I, what was it, 10 years? It's been a while. We tried to hire each other years ago, became buddies. He started doing mortgage loans via the bank, and I would do bank loans, and we swapped business a lot. When we sold, I ended up hanging out at his office for a few months. I needed office space, and they're like, hey, you need to get your mortgage license. So that's what we did, I guess.
Yeah, we thought they were going to buy another bank or whatever. Yeah, when I went to interview Josh to try to get him to come to work with us, right before then I found out his mom was the bank president. I was like, well, there goes that.
I was playing along to hire him because he did a lot of loans in there.
Oh, that's hilarious. So you guys are both going in thinking you're going to hire.
Yeah. So after they sold the bank, he's like, well, I just want to come job shadow for a minute so I figure out what we're going to do. My contract's out. And the rest is history. He went ahead and just, because he wasn't covered under he had a mortgage.
The bank side, you don't have to have the mortgage license. So I had to go get that. And so I was already doing loans, but that's why I had to get my mortgage license.
And then after he came to work with us, I think the very next year he was number one in the company. So I'm like,
it was going better. I was just referring the business to Chad, which was much easier. But he's like, you better get your license.
Yeah, he's like, this is a great setup. You can just do the loans and I'll just go out and market. I was like, heck.
So ever since we've been together doing mortgages, so far so good.
So we were friends outside of work before we started working together. And then, when we started working together, then now they've got two of us going at it.
So I'm always fascinated by partnerships because I think oftentimes they have a shelf life or don't end up working out. And I'm not saying, hey, yours isn't going to work out. Let's just make that clear. The founders of the company have been business partners 26 years, so I know it can happen. They've been partners longer than a lot of people have been married. But I was going to just ask, what do you guys think has made it work well for you guys to work together, and what makes your partnership click and go?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for one, the good Lord had a plan for us because usually, and I'm not bragging, but when you have two higher producers, you butt heads, but thankfully we're not actually in the same market. I'm more in Madison County, Limestone County, some Jackson. He's more about Marshall.
He's more in the city of Huntsville's like the big city in North Alabama. So, and then I'm more out in the rural areas around the lake and Marshall, Jackson, at the outlying areas of the city.
So we never step on each other's toes. Sometimes he does the people that I go to church with, because I go to church out where he lives. And he's like, "Oh, you can do it." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do it." So, so we just don't step on each other's toes just naturally. And it's weird how that works out, because usually, again, if you have two people that do a lot of units, you're going to butt heads. You're going to, go after the same realtors, the same builders. That never happens.
Tim Davis did the personality. What is it called? The test he does,
the disc test.
So it was so weird because he was trying to figure that out too. So I was more the D. I think the DI personality. With Chad's was off the record though, no D, but he was the ISC. So that was one other reason I think we do different things and it works together well.
Yeah, it's almost like your strengths
We
play well and your weaknesses balance for a great partnership.
I'm more reserved. He's more living in. So that's kind of how we do it. Yeah.
No, love that. So you brought up Tim Davis, which is awesome. We love Tim, of course. How did you guys find Canopy Mortgage? Like you're in Alabama, we're in Utah. I'm just curious.
That's a good question. Actually,
it was a godsend thing first, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this is only my third job change ever. So we were at Certainty Home Lending prior to this. I think I was there maybe 7 years, and you were there maybe
almost
15 years. Well, Certainty got bought out by G-Rate, a much larger company. We loved Certainty at the time. It was the smaller field, kind of like Canopy, and we really didn't think we'd find anything similar to that. But when they got bought out, of course, everything changed, and we kind of saw the writing on the wall. We needed to maybe head a different direction. I'd been working with Tim Davis on the coaching a little prior to that. So, but I'm a meet in person type of guy. So I told Tim, I said, let's just meet. He's only a couple hours away in Nashville. So I tried to plan a meeting just to see kind of about what we could do, that kind of thing. He never brought up Canopy really, but I said, hey, tell me about your new place. He had just changed to Canopy actually prior to that too. So I finally talked Chad into coming up to Nashville. He didn't want to go, but I talked him into going. I was like, let's just go talk to Tim and figure out what we should do next, So I drug him up there after a few, I think we canceled a few times maybe, but we went up to meet Tim, and he started, we're like, hey, tell us about Canopy. How's it going? He was not trying, no pressure, no sales at all.
I didn't even know where he worked. I'd heard about Tim Davis, but I had no idea.
And to get Chad to leave Certainty, I thought, this is going to be a nightmare. Even I thought it would take years probably. But Tim pulled out the laptop. We started running some numbers, that kind of thing. Chad was sold probably 30 minutes. He was ready to pull the plug before I was. So,
well, I was already getting unhappy where I was because everything was changing. So I knew the writing was on the wall.
But he told us, about a smaller company. You guys were out of Utah. Rates were great. No overlays. We may have called. At some point, we called maybe Naomi or Abby or someone on underwriting. So it was just everything was just working out. And so before we made a decision, we wanted to meet you guys in person. We flew out December to Utah, met everyone, loved it. It was even better, than we thought. The people are what sold us, though, for sure.
Yes, 100%.
The corporate office, everyone was they answered all our questions, so nice, so friendly, made us feel at home.
Yeah, that was the feel we were waiting on.
We were worried. We just had to have that feeling it was time to make the move. So we decided to move in first week in January.
January 2nd.
January 2nd, we employees at Canopy, and we've been here.
Stuck with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I love that. And it's been awesome to watch you all grow. If you were to kind of look into the future, what are your plans going forward? Like, where do you guys want to be in the next couple of years? What do you see your group accomplishing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our core group has been together for on average 12 to 15 years. So when we came, our whole staff came. So we're always have been together for so many years. And even Josh and his assistant have been together 12 years, so
15 years.
15
years.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's been with me a long time.
And Stacy, she's been with me now 16 years. So, so with that being said, we always want to stay together because we've got such a great working family, So, what I see for us doing is still doing loans because we love doing loans, sleeves rolled up, boots on the ground, we don't aspire to just, pull out of, back out, just kind of manage. And, that works for some people. That's great. But in my opinion, I feel like most of our success is when we are there leading by example.
We go into the office. We're big about our staff goes into the office.
5 days a week. Yep.
Chad will be on an oxygen tank still slinging loans, I'm sure.
Well, we both have kind of the servant's heart. I'm not tooting our own horn or anything like that, but, it's always just doing the right thing when no one's looking. All of our staff has the same mentality. It's not about us. It's always about the customer. So I feel like, as long as we're able and we're doing loans and the good Lord's helping us, we're successful, why change, so.
And we did hire a recent LO, Rhonda Falk, down in Niceville, Florida, close to Destin there. So we are growing, as we can with people we know. We've known her for 8 years. So, or probably 10. Yeah. She's been a great addition, though, down in Florida. So she's not that far away. And so we're trying to expand, too. So
love that. And what do you offer unique? Like if I were to, if I'm a loan officer listening to this and I say, oh man, these guys seem really cool, which you both are. You have high energy, you have a great culture, but like, why would I want to sync up with your group, with the Barnes Cantrell Mortgage Group?
So with us, we have a fulfillment center. We have our own underwriters, on processors, on specialists. They call it specialists here. And all of our people, most of them been in the mortgage business 10 plus years. So we love surrounding ourselves with seasoned people. We all started somewhere. But us always having that second set of eyes that, know what they're doing. And with us, we've been doing loans for so long, we bring a lot of experience to the table. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You've always got to be looking.
You got to be creative.
You got to be creative, yeah.
Even Rhonda says, hey, she's been doing it forever too, but should we bounce ideas off? If we have a problem loan, me and Chad and her, we may just talk on the phone and figure out like, hey, you can't do this, but maybe you could do this. And she said she's done way more deals at Canopy than she was able to do at the old company. So she loves that with no overlays, just being able to talk it out with seasoned LOs, great rates we offer, in-house operations. So if she's got a builder deal that's got to go quick, we can ask for a rush easily.
And she's also confident on our pricing and stuff. Sorry, I left the camera. She's confident on our pricing as well. So with here, you can go out with confidence. You can go get the loan, and as long as you know what the guidelines are, we're going to close it. So Canopy stands behind us. They stand behind their word, and it's just been.
She had lost her confidence with the old company when they got bought out by Guaranteed Rate. She was with us there as well, but they had changed so much. They would say one thing and not do what they say, not back it up. When you're dealing with a builder, if you can't back up what you promise, you lose one deal and you can't make it, you get kicked off those builder lists. So that's been she's got her confidence back. She's out selling. She was afraid to really promote her company. So she's out promoting us even, more than ever. So she's picking up some new builders. So that's been good.
Mm-hmm. Love to hear that. So switching gears, one final question. I think we've got, a minute or two left. One final question is, so it's been brutal since 23-ish on, at least from my perspective. And I think we've seen a mass exodus year over year. It feels like LOs are being cut in half by way of those renewing. For those that have stuck it out, what advice would you have to kind of lift them up, dust them off a little bit? You guys are thriving in what most would call a down market. I think you're part of that 1% that is succeeding very well. What advice would you have for those who feel like they've been kicked down a number of times over the last couple of years?
We just had to kind of get the old-fashioned marketing back out. We are calling realtors. We're having events. Tim Davis has been awesome. Sometimes he's one of those people that can give you ideas that, hey, it's not that hard to do, but you just don't think about it. So we have just kind of went, we're calling people again. We're going to lunches. COVID kind of messed some of that events and stuff up. So we're just getting back into it, staying out and about when we can. We're not in the office working, but really just nothing outside the box, really just some simple stuff, sending thank you cards, calling people on their birthdays, taking people to lunch, just attending functions in town.
Yeah, and most importantly, when they do send you a customer, take care of that customer. That customer, as Josh a lot says, we offer white glove service. When they refer someone to us, and when they get to the closing, we want them to brag on their realtor sale. I am so glad you put us in touch with Chad and Josh, because everything was just so easy, blah, 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 I think sometimes, the guidelines are ever changing. There's a lot of things that change, but, you can go out and promise the world, but if you don't deliver, it's just words, right? So, but at a place like this, you can promise that, and you know you're going to deliver.
It's the customer service. My mom used to say there's a bank on every corner. We had to beat them with customer service. So that's what we do here. Mortgage company on every corner as well. So, our customer service, when they call, we answer the phone. They can get us done.
There is no off time.
We're
always
they call us the vampire lenders, because if they call us at 10 p.m., we answer. But I mean, you'll always have to do that. But that's what we do, and that's why we've been blessed, I think,
Love that. Well, I just want to thank both of you. We love having you as part of the Canopy family. I know you'll continue to do great things. If anyone is interested, they're the Barnes Cantrell Mortgage Group, powered by Canopy Mortgage. Certainly check them out. Great individuals to work with and work for. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us this day, fellas.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Love Canopy for sure.
Love it. Best decision ever.
You guys are the best. Thank
See
you.
buddy.
Bye.
See you now.
See ya.